start with you. You had a tremendous reception at the fan forum last night. You have a couple of wins, 7 podiums here. Just what makes this one different for you?
Well, home Grand Prix, so it's different to all drivers when you race in front of your home crowd and friends, family are normally in the grandstands or in the paddock, and you want to deliver something always extra at your home place, and we know Barcelona very well. It's not only my case. I think all Formula One drivers, we did a lot of laps here, a lot of testing. So yeah, it's a circuit that we know very well, and we push the limits, from FP1 to the race.
So what do you think will happen this weekend from an Aston Martin point of view? Let's focus on the positives from the last 2 races since you introduced the upgrade. How much of a performance step forward is it?
Let's see. I think Barcelona will tell us a little bit more about the new package. Imola was a step forward for sure, but also I think we ran the medium tires and that helped us in qualifying. And then in Monaco is such a special place, and Saturday is obviously key part of the weekend, and we put some good laps on Saturday as well. So Barcelona with a more normal weekend we will discover where are we in terms of performance. But I think everyone will bring also some upgrades here, especially on the new regulation with the front wing, and let's see how much affects everyone on the grid.
Fernando, you referenced Monaco there. I did want to ask you what it was like to work trackside with Adrian Newey. Did it live up to expectations?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I think the way he see things on the car, even statically on the pit lane or at the grid, also in the garage, spotting some things that we could have done better or do better in the future. But also, yes, his presence in the meeting room is always special, and I think not intimidating, but I think the level of the team was higher thanks to his presence, because everyone was more focused, more into the details of the car. Every word, every people that was talking in the meeting, they know that they cannot say anything too far from truth, because he will spot it. So I think that was great to witness, and I hope next year, with more races that he will come, we will keep learning from him and getting better as a team.
Fernando, thank you for that.
Fernando, you've mentioned many times that your hopes are focused on 2026. Of course, Adrian Newey was in Monaco, but his focus is on 2026. Although the team has brought new parts this weekend, they brought new parts in Imola. I understand that there's new parts coming in Silverstone. What is the focus on the team between 2025 and 2026? Is it not fully focused on next year still?
I think the focus is on 2026, but in order to be confident and strong in 26, you have to build the momentum also in 25, and you have to deliver some parts on track that they are making the car faster as well in 25, and that will, I think, give some confidence to the team as well back in Silverstone, and also in our tools to make sure that everything that we are developing in 26 it makes sense, because we go on track and it delivers the expectations. So yeah, I think there is a little bit of work still on 25, and but yeah, the main focus or the hopes are in 26. We understand the situation, we understand where are we in 2025, and whatever we bring to the track will just be a minimum change in terms of positions and finishing order. And I think the biggest step in that regard, it can only happen in 26, where all the hopes are.
Thank you for that. David? Yep.
David Croft, Sky Sports F1. Fernando, on that topic, One thing Adrian did say when he was speaking in Monaco was that there was a correlation issue between your new sim back at the technology campus and what you're now seeing on the track, and it might take 2 years to fix. So how much of a hindrance is that going to be, especially to yourself as a driver, and what are the team doing to put things right and to give you a better correlation between now and the 2 years that it might take to fix it fully?
Well, I think all the simulators will have some kind of correlation issues to the real car. And I don't think that any team has a perfect simulator that you can trust 100%. Because the car on the real track and the real life is very dynamic and it keeps changing always corner to corner and session to session. There are not 2 laps on the weekend that they are exactly the same, because the wind, because the temperature, because the traffic in front, all these kind of things. So when you try to replicate that on a simulator, on a consistent and perfect environment, I think is very different. But I think it will take less than 2 years to fix our simulator. It's not new. Maybe it's the first time that, and Adrian said in Monaco that on the interview, but rest assured that drivers will mention it a couple of times already.
Hello, Laurent Dupin from Canal+. Question to Fernando, because George and Yuki may not remember. In 2001, you were driving the Monaco Grand Prix, and
I don't remember.
Poleman David Coulthard had to start from the back. He spent 40 laps behind Bernardi in the Arrows, who was 4 seconds slower in qualifying. Now, with all the pack in 1 second, does that mean that people expect too much from the Monaco Grand Prix on the Sunday?
Of course. I mean, Monaco has been Monaco always, but now I think there is a lot of expectations, and there is a lot of media that you are not the one to blame, but there is a lot of news generated, every single day, and there are a lot of things on internet, social media. There are a lot of things generated for Formula One. So we want to see the show. We want to see the overtakings. We want to improve the sport from our couch at home. Everyone has ideas, all these kind of things. And I'm always a little bit surprised about the negative comments from Monaco on Monday, but don't worry, because next year we will go to Monaco, and on Wednesday we will be so excited, and then on Friday we will all say that it's the best weekend and track of the season, and we all want to win in Monaco, and then on Saturday we are all super excited, and the adrenaline that you get on those laps are probably unique in the championship, and then for whatever reason on Sunday we will be all disappointed once again. But I think it's what it is. You play all your cards on Saturday. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not. But there are some other circuits that is also like that, and is the nature of Formula One. Even with how competitive is the field now. We a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I think Max and Red Bull won nearly all the races, and it happened also with the McLaren. Back in the 90s, and this is Formula One, and it had happened, and it will happen also in the future, but still number one sport, and we still embrace how it is.
Thank you.
A question for Fernando. We've seen in recent weeks the official announcement of the new Spanish Grand Prix venue in Madrid, even some first impressions of the track. And we also know that it almost certainly means that this track will be gone from the calendar after next year. So what do you as a Spaniard think about the fact that we are going to probably lose such a historic track in exchange for, well, let's put it bluntly, another street track?
Well, I don't think that we will lose Barcelona. So that's my opinion and my wish as well. I think it's good to have new venues. It's good to have new countries as well that Formula One have moved in the last decade. But at the same time, we need to keep some traditional circuits where the history of Formula One has been written and made. And I think Formula One and Barcelona, they are very linked we've been testing here for decades. I think all the teams, they choose Barcelona when they have to choose one test track. We come back next year here in winter because we have new regulations, new cars, and once again, the teams, they chose Barcelona because it's the Formula One track in a way. And I think the circuit has, made some changes to make it to Formula One standards. So in the last 2 or 3 years, all the paddock facilities, the grandstands, everything has take a new level. And Barcelona has been, here for the last 2 or 3 decades. And Barcelona will be here for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And some of the venues will be just momentarily there in the calendar, and then probably they will disappear again. So we cannot lose Barcelona.
Thank you. Next.
Fernando, welcome to Barcelona. Jaime Vigara from the Best F1. You ran in Indianapolis a few years ago. So what do you think to recently Alex Palou victory? Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, great for Spain. First of all, great for him to have the Indy 500 now after winning the series and the Indy car for a few consecutive seasons and now leading the championship as well. So he's doing great there. I know that most of the drivers we dream about Formula One seat and having a career here, but he had the opportunity in IndyCar and he maximized every single day there, and he's a legend in the IndyCar, and he will be a legend always in IndyCar. So I think he's not missing Formula One, and I'm very happy for him because he's a very, very talented driver. And yeah, we are just following him from here with a lot of respect and as a fan, because I was watching on Sunday the race and just hoping that he will finally make it, and he did it. So happy for him.
Thank you. Where are we going next?
Here. Victor Abad for Revista Film. Question for Fernando. Much has been spoken about the Monaco Grand Prix in terms of overtaking, in terms of the track layout, but not much of the size of the cars. You obviously have driven a lot of different Formula One cars with different sizes of every. You've seen all the evolution.
I never overtook any car.
Well, in 2010 we saw some great overtaking.
Well, also Lance overtook Nico in the last lap. You see one overtake every 10 years. So great,
Yeah.
And I mean this has been the Monaco nature, and I think Max spoke about this because you ask Max about Monaco, because the last thing that Max has in his head now is just the Monaco race.
Yeah.
But there is this constant talk about how bad is something instead of how good is something, and this is Monaco, and I don't think maybe there are a couple of ideas that between all involved in the sport, drivers, FIA, teams, that we can think about Monaco, but I don't think that there is any need to think something, and it's only because, as I said, there is a lot of content now to be created, and drivers, we are too nice. So we answer to every question, because if 40 years ago you ask, I'm sure, Senna and pros, and they are fighting for the championship or whatever, about Monaco after 1 week, they will be less polite than we are now.
Was just because you drove a lot of different Formula One cars. Which is your ideal size that a Formula One should have in any Grand Prix, any season?
Enough to fit Yuki and myself, and after that is George's problem. Yeah, I mean, there is other sports like basketball and other things, that you can try. But no, I mean, I think I always said that the early 2000s for me were the best cars that I drove. But maybe you are a little bit, romantic about this answer, because it was my first days in Formula One, and success came also in those years. But I think the V10 engines, the small cars, I have great memories from that time, and the cars were nice to drive and fun to drive, but they're overtaking in Monaco.
Okay, thanks. Next.
Giuseppe Marino, Motori Online. Ciao Fernando, I'm here.
Ciao.
Will the 2026 car be a decisive factor in your decision about staying in Formula One?
It will be a very important one, yes. Not the final one. I think I need to see how next year starts and how motivated I am. Every year there is a different mood into the season. There is a different feeling on how you perform, how competitive you feel yourself, how motivated you are to keep your fitness at the high level. Personal situation, family situation, all these kind of things play a role, I think, in some important decisions in life. And I know that a very important decision in life will come with me in the near future when I stop racing. I did my first racing go-kart at the age of 3. I'm 43, so for 40 years I have a steering wheel on my hands, and I know that one day I will have to stop. And that's an important decision that I will think carefully. I did stop Formula One already once in 2018, and I came back because I needed. And so the next one that I take, it has to be 100% sure.
Thank you for that. Another one.
Carlos Miguel, Fernando. It's about the engine. Do you know the reason of the failure, and that engine you can use in other races? And you think that if we don't want them to repeat that problem? It's a question of procedures. It's a question of the team.
Yeah, from what I know, it was I think something on the spark plug, and then damaged one cylinder, and then after that cylinder was damaged, I was racing with 5 cylinders for 20 laps, and then the engine stops completely, and that engine cannot be used again. It's gone. So yeah, that's the news that I have. I don't think that it was nothing really wrong on it or any procedure that it was different than any other race. So it was just the end of the life of that engine, that it happened in the wrong moment at the wrong time. But yeah, nothing probably we could have done differently. And for this race, there is nothing really different to be made, and we should be okay, because we never had that problem, and we don't think that problem will be repeated.
Thanks for that. If we're quick, one more. Luke. Yeah.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. Fernando, picking up on what you said there about motivation and everything, you spoke recently how this feels very different to when you're at McLaren. Obviously, the results weren't there. It's been a tough start to the season, but the hunger you've got, the motivation you've still got, is a lot of that pinned on 26 and the project being built at Aston Martin? And is F1 still giving you the same joy that it always has?
Yes, I think Formula One is in a great moment now, and we are all enjoying, the new fans, the new boom in Formula One. But yeah, at the same time, you need to feel it, when it's time. And I don't feel it yet. I jump in the car tomorrow and on Sunday, and I'm on the grid, and I'm just so happy to be there and motivated and performing well, because I think at the end of the day, the time watch will tell me also when I have to stop, or I have a physical condition that is bad, or I have pain driving or whatever, that it could happen as well. Sometimes you get a little bit injured, you get, some better races or bad races. But if that, we keep it healthy and in good conditions, the time watch also will tell me one day that, I don't feel fast enough, or I don't feel that I can put the lap together. But so far, I'm happy with that. I'm happy when I'm on the grid, when I finish the race on Sunday, even if the results are not nice at the moment. I'm so motivated to go to the next race and try to overcome, the bad race and having a better one. So all these kind of things are very alive now, but there is no guarantee that this will be forever.
Okay, Fernando, thank you for